Sometimes it feels like the sun will never rise, like the birds will never sing again. Believe in a power greater than what you are going through. When you don't know what to do, keep breathing.
That's right. When you don't know what to do, just keep on breathing. From the City of Angels in Los Angeles, welcome to the Caregiver Dave Show at caregiverdave.com. And today I have my lovely co-host, former mayor of a California beach town, Grover Beach, right? And best-selling author Debbie Peterson, former mayor and future mayor. I'm predicting that. Coming to you live and on demand 24/7 on numerous syndicated radio and podcast networks on not 26, but 30 global audio platforms now, including iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Spreaker, SoundCloud, Vimeo, and a whole bunch more. And in fact, we are proud to be voted #1 caregiver podcast on FeedSpot out of thousands and #1 caregiver podcast on Player FM on the top 50. And we have an especially exciting show planned for you today. Dr. Nick and Mike Sebastian, authors and founders of Divine Guidance Institute and Wellness Center, Inc. Before I go further, I want to thank my last week's guest, grown up with a stuttering problem, extreme public speaking fear, social anxiety. Laura Reed is an unlikely speaker, public speaking coach, and comedian. But all that makes her uniquely aligned to help others find their voice. And just a reminder, if you want to watch or listen to that interview or this interview we're doing today or any interview, go to our website, caregiverdave.com, or any of our other 30 global networks I mentioned earlier. All right, enough of that. Nicole, welcome to the Caregiver Dave Show. Dr. Nick and Mike.
Yeah.
And you can call me Mikey Mike. That's my rapper name here in Detroit. All right.
I'm so embarrassed that I forgot your name. I'm going to say it again. All right, enough of that. Nicole and Mike, welcome to the Caregiver Dave Show. We're so excited to have you on. And that's Dr. Nick, right? That's how you like to be responded on it. And I always like to ask my guests just who is Nicole Sebastian and Mike, and why were they placed on this earth? You first, Nicole.
All right. Okay. Well, it's kind of a combo story. You know, I started pre-med. I started as a caregiver in a hospital in high school. I was a certified nurse assistant. And I was going to go pre-med, anesthesiologist, and that was the path. And the high school had a program for the last 2 years, senior and junior year, where I could be a CNA and do school simultaneously. So that was my gig and that was my path. And then shortly, after graduating and whatnot, and I also worked in the nursing home, and then I had an epiphany that of all of my caregiving work, my favorite and best aspect was really psychological. So I shifted to the psych assist aspect and became a clinical psychologist instead of an anesthesiologist. So it's really cool and appropriate that we're on the show because I've been in the caregiver field for several years. Then I even worked in hospice for another year, working as a caregiver. So it's really appropriate and cool. And the tools we're going to share today and talk about with your audience, it's going to help the burnout factor and the stability factor. And like we were talking before the show, we said being prepared yet being flexible simultaneously is about self-preservation. And so we can get into all this cool stuff, throughout the show. It'll be fun. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, you were telling me before the show that you two have been married almost 30 years and you met through a dream. Please explain that.
Michael?
When I was teaching college, I went to a PhD program for a couple of years. I was in law school for a couple of years, actually. Decided that I really don't like lawyers, so I never took the bar exam and moved on to something else. And then after that, I got, PhD. I was working on a PhD in psychology, so I started teaching sociology at different colleges throughout the United States. But I was in Austin, Texas at the time, teaching sociology. And one night I had this very vivid dream, what you would call a clear dream. And in the dream, there was a girl, and she wore a purple outfit. Her name was Nicole, had brown eyes. And when I woke up, I had a feeling, just a nudge, an inner nudge to write the whole thing down, to journal the dream. Good thing I did, because I would have eventually, I forgot the dream. It doesn't take long, but I had a journal. Fast forward 3 years, I'm still teaching at the same college. Who walks
Do
into
you
my
journal all your dreams, by the way, or just that one?
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because, and like you mentioned, and we journal them because many of them are prophetic. They let us know what's coming. Like this dream let me know what's coming. Who walks into my classroom one day? Nicole, wearing the purple outfit fit from the dream. And it was like same name, same girl, same look. And the dream was letting me know that my life was going to take a right turn. Things were going to go a different direction. And also the dream let me know that they're important. Obviously, it was prophetic. It was going to change my life. And Nicole and I were going to hook up. So after that, I really paid attention to dreams.
Well, did you remember her? Because it was 3 years ago. Or did you have to thumb through your journal? Did something familiar?
Dave, he did not remember that dream. No. And Debbie, no, he did not. So here's the thing. I came to school, first day of class, the teacher walks in, we're waiting. He walks in. Remember, he's 26 years older than me. I was 24 at the time, okay? So teacher walks in, and all of a sudden, my gut feeling and the inner voice and is screaming inside, soulmate, soulmate. You're going to be together. You're going to marry the guy. You've got a big mission together. And I thought, well, whoa, okay.
Has that ever happened to you before, that voice?
No, not to that degree. Not with those messages. No. I ran home. I told my roommate, Heather, I'm going to marry this guy. She thought I was nuts. And then I remained quiet. I finished the semester. I got an A on my own merit, and it was Sociology 101. Michael's a sociologist. And okay, then the next semester I saw him in the hallway, and I asked Michael out. We did lunch the next day, dinner the next night. Then we were engaged in 90 days and married in 9 months. June was our 29th wedding anniversary, and the 30th, this past Monday, was 30 years together since our first date. So I kept quiet on my gut feeling. He eventually remembered the dream. He had a deja vu. When I became a fitness trainer, he had a whole deja vu recollection of the dream and found it in the dream journal. We still have the journal. The TV, NBC came in a while ago in Arizona and filmed the whole thing. But he had the recall. Deja vu is a forgotten prophetic dream. It's French. It means having seen before. So he stayed quiet on his dream. I stayed quiet on my gut feeling. And here's where the signs come in as divine guidance. There's a trio: dream, signs, and intuition. So Michael's walking me back to my car for that dinner date. The letters on my plate are KRW, which are the initials of his first wife. Yes. So he saw that as a sign we're going to be together, serious relationship, but he kept quiet. So we kept our divine guidance to ourselves. And then eventually, the whole thing transpired. So.
And it was funny because when I saw her in the hallway, she said, "Hey, Sebastian, I wanted to ask you out to lunch." And I said, "Okay, sure." So we went for a lunch at a deli there in Austin, Texas. And I expected her to ask me for a letter of recommendation for graduate school. It's pretty common, and I get it from my students. And so I said, "What can I do for you?" And she said, "Well, I thought we might date." I said, "Excuse me?" And we were both dating people at the time. So we had to drop those people and start dating each other, but it had a feel to it. It definitely had that vibe, the inner vibe, I could tell.
Debbie, you got anything for these people here?
Well, it's so fascinating because I know that dreams have meaning, and I've had similar types of dreams that have predicted things to come that have been, I feel like it's a gift from God because it prepares me for something that I psychologically, emotionally need to be, and actually practically need to be ready to deal with. So I love what you're talking about. And I guess I don't have questions yet. Except, okay, how does that help us to deal with our stress, and where do people, how do people get help with that kind of thing? Because I never quite know. When people tell me a vivid dream, I'm always thinking there's something there, but I never know where to send them.
Right. Well, that's why we just started our nonprofit just in April, actually, entitled Divine Guidance Institute and Wellness Center, as Dave mentioned. And there's two public crises, and that's why we started the nonprofit. The one is the mental health crisis, and I've been working with clients for 25 years. And then the other crisis is people getting blindsided. Mm-hmm. It's in the headlines every week. I was blindsided. They blindsided me. She blindsided me. And we go back to Divine Guidance Institute and Wellness Center. If you use the higher tools of Holy Spirit, which are dream, signs, and intuition, and then the other tool we bring to the table, which is one magic word, also known as one-step therapy, which we're going to share with your audience. When you combine these four tools, it really puts you in tune with your higher self, depending on someone's belief system, their higher self, the universe, Holy Spirit, God, depending on someone's belief system. Nonetheless, it puts you in that, it gets you that the higher guidance, the divine guidance, so we don't get blindsided, and the tools inadvertently, which we'll get to in a moment, where they help with the stress and the insomnia. As a matter of fact, one magic word, Michael was in Vietnam, he'll tell you, one magic word got rid of the PTSD from Vietnam. Yes, Michael.
And it was severe when I got back, and they didn't really know what it was at the time. And the VA, the doctors, they're just guessing. They just put you on meds. They don't know. And I found the hue, stumbled across the hue, and I started hewing on a daily basis before I went to the VA to see the docs, get some meds. Good thing I did, because the depression, severe anxiety, suicidal ideation, put a gun to my head every day, wanting to kill myself, nightmares off the scale. All of those symptoms started to lessen. They started to abate. They went away. And within a very short period of time, they were gone. And that was with no doctor, no meds, no therapy, the hue. And that's when I knew we had found a tool that we could share with others for mental health, like Nicole had mentioned. I mean, for that, who doesn't have anxiety today, or depressed, or, stress, or nightmares, and it goes on and on. So we're using that with our Divine Guidance Institute. And also we use it in terms of, because people ask us, how do I know? How do I know to take that new job? How do I know that's my soulmate? How do I know whether to invest in that new stock? I really feel like I should. And they do their homework, do their data, do their research, talk to their friends, talk to the experts, but they still get blindsided. Sometimes you buy in and boom, it explodes and you lose all your money. Well, how did that happen? I did everything that I could. That is why we started Divine Guidance Institute. You're not using all your tools. You're using your left brain and the data, but you're not using the right brain. And that's where we come into the equation.
How did you come up with the hue? And might explain what that is.
Oh, yes. It's so fabulous. And it's actually has historical and science, and spirituality all combined. Hue, H-U, hue. I'll give you a demo. You inhale, hue. On the exhale, hue. You can do it out loud or silent, eyes open or closed. So it's very user-friendly. And it's in the Oxford English Dictionary, the word human actually means God-man, God within man. So the word hue is the ancient sacred name for God. So then we start doing our research, right? We're like, well, let's really look at this. So we research all the religions. We found the word hue in 14 different religions and their sacred book. Yes, everything from the Bible to the Quran, the Sikhs, the Sufis, goes all the way back to Egypt. 5,000 years ago, they used to hew at the Sphinx from dusk until dawn as a society to raise the consciousness of the people. So the word hue, it's really magical in that sense, that it's sacred, and we say experiment with it. Just don't take our word for it. Though we've done all the research, and let's go science for a minute if we could. There's vibrational therapy, and there's vibroacoustic therapy. Vibrational is vibrations. Vibroacoustic is sound and vibration mixed, but it uses an outside apparatus, like a CD or a chair or a pillow, something outside of you. Well, the Hue combines both, and it's from the inside out. So it's too perfect. It's like it couldn't be more perfect.
And it's really simple quantum physics too. And I'll throw that in because a lot of times the skeptics and the scientists go, well, how is this proven? I mean, what are you talking about here? Where does this come from? And it's simple quantum physics. And everybody laughs because there is no simple quantum physics. But quantum physics states in one sentence, everything at a quantum level is a vibration. That's all there is in the universe. Everything else is illusion. The couch may look like the couch, but if you could see it at a quantum level, it's simply a frequency that's vibrating. We're a frequency. That's why every individual is unique. We have a quantum signature, so we're different from everybody else. And when we hue, we change the frequency of ourselves to a higher, finer frequency. And when we change the frequency, quantum physics says change the frequency, you change the reality. It's like flipping a channel on your remote. Oh my God, I went from depression, now I'm feeling joy. And that happened in what, 10 seconds? Whoa, where did the suicidal ideation go? It's gone. I'm feeling really peaceful. That's because I just changed the frequency with the Hue.
I'm a man of faith for years and years and years, and I don't usually let fear come into my life, but I had hernia surgery Monday, and I got to say I was a little nervous about that because I'm at the mercy of this doctor, and don't know exactly what to expect. They make you sign all these papers that you could die, you could do this, you could bleed, all. And I called Nicole for that. I don't know if I would be able to do the interview. Supposed to be yesterday. Didn't know how I was going to feel, and she explained the Hue, and I did it, and I immediately felt peace and calm. And it's unexplainable, first of all, but all that nervousness, all that anxiety, it just instantly vanished. So I just kept doing it, and here I am, alive.
Yay!
Yay!
We're the lucky ones. Yes.
That's because, Dave, it's really because it works. And I've worked with and run across professional sports players. One of the Lakers, and I won't mention who it is, years ago, working with him because he wanted to go back and get his MBA, and I was his counselor. As it turned out, they assigned me. He wasn't even on the rolls because he was so famous. They kept him off the rolls. So I went to see him, and when he came over to the school, and I said, so what's keeping you from getting your MBA? What do you see as the major problem? And he said, Mike, I'm playing full time. Obviously, I got a family, I got kids, I got endorsements. He said, I'm freaked out that I'm even here, but I've always wanted to do it. It's been a secret dream to go back to get my MBA. So I'm coming back at night to do it, but I don't know whether I can do it. And I said, I got something for you. And I gave him the Hue. I said, Hue. And I said, try that. I said, you'll find out that gets rid of your anxiety and your fear. And he bust out laughing. And he said, I got all these problems, Mike, and you're having me hum? Come on. I said, hey, bro, don't knock it till you try it. And he went, okay, fair enough. Month goes by, we meet again. I got to go meet him. When I walked into the room, before he could say anything, just to tease him, I said, have you been hewing? And he said, Mike, have I been hewing? My family's hewing? He said, the coach of the team is now hewing. And he said, I'll tell you why. Because I tried it and it worked. The focus, it changed my game. There you go. And I said, okay. And that's how the Hue works so efficiently.
I sold my gas station. I retired after 48 years in the gas station business and 70 now. And now I'm dealing with the capital gain tax, which is huge. And, I'm talking to tax advisors and, some of them have tax strategies and some of them I don't feel comfortable with. I don't want to be worrying about getting audited in 3 years or whatever, with some fringe strategy and looking at some others. And I'm really, I want to know, should I just pay the tax? Which I look at some of these, and this is what I'm dealing with right now, just trying to have wisdom from God, and I'm praying about it, saying, tell me what to do, and can this help with that too?
Yes.
Yes.
And actually, after we get off, I'm gonna email you our books so you have them. Okay, because all the techniques are right there and you can use them if you want, that way you'll both have them.
Mhm.
But let's get into that for a moment. That's what we talk about. Michael mentioned how to know if my deceased grandmother in heaven, if she's okay, and how to know if I should move to Texas, how to know if my spouse is cheating, how do I know what to do with that capital gains tax? And so you could do all your homework, as Michael mentioned. Then we can add our tools so we have heightened awareness and enhance our connection with Holy Spirit. Our personal connection, not because, Joe Blow said it and this advisor, you do your data, you do your homework, then you take it one step further. What's the best thing for me? And so in doing so, the hue turns up the volume on our connection. So that alone will assist in connecting with discernment. Because you can make decisions all day, but do you have that discernment that's needed to make the best choice, So with the discernment and turning up the volume, and then using dreams and signs and intuition, you can program a dream, Dave. You can actually ask tonight.
Mm-hmm.
If you have one choice, you can word it in several ways. You can say, should I pay the tax? And show me tonight in a dream. So when you lay down, you'll present the question and you'll do some hewing out loud or silently and drift off. And you'll either remember a dream or you won't. Now, the information gets downloaded. That's where the old maxim, let me sleep on it, comes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let me sleep on it. Oh, because we have a dream and the info gets downloaded, even though we don't remember the dream. But you can get really proactive and program a dream that way. And so it would either be like, should I pay the tax? Or should I follow, Mr. Smith's advice? It's got to be a very direct, simple question. Because don't do what I did. If you ask like, well, should I do this, this, or this? It's confusing. And when we wake up, we're not sure what the dream was really telling us to do. So you keep your question real simple. Should I do this? Or should I follow this advice? And then you'll get a yes or a no. And then you can confirm it. See, that's the cool thing. You got your intuition or your dreams or your signs, right? But the way the trust yourself system that we've developed, and like I said, we're going to send you all this after in our books. You can do a trio of methodology for full knowingness. You can ask in a dream and get an answer, right? And then maybe it's clear, maybe it's not. Maybe you're still not sure. So then you can ask for confirmation. I need one more dream. I need a sign. So you can confirm your answer as much as you need to. And let me just back up, because this is a really cool story, but this is where this whole thing transpired. Okay, Michael was blindsided. He was married for 15 years, and then she served him with divorce papers. Okay.
Never saw it coming.
Nope. Before that, I was dating someone for a long time and he ghosted me. Now that's the word today, but back then that wasn't even the word. This is before cell phones, right? And we're dating. It's New Year's Eve. He was going to pick me up. I'll pick you up in a few hours. We're talking on the house phone. There's no internet. There's nothing. He doesn't show up. He never shows. New Year's Eve came and went. I still to this day have never talked to the guy. Never saw the guy. I was in despair. I'm not kidding. Total distraught despair. What happened? Is he dead? Is he alive? And Holy Spirit, I'm talking about the gifts. 4 days, I was really messed up. And on the fourth day, I had a dream. And I didn't even know how dreams work. And I had a dream. The dream showed me it was him with his two daughters, hand in hand with his kids. And they were walking away from me. That was the whole dream. When I woke up, I knew the message. He got back with his family and was headed in another direction. And that's what happened. And Holy Spirit wants us, it wants us okay. It wants us safe, healthy, whole, happy. So it's going to communicate in the ways that's best for us as individuals to get that information so we can progress.
Mhm.
And so that was the first dream that showed me how this whole thing works, blew my mind. Then you combine that with the getting blindsided and the Michael, and then his dream, and then the sign and the intuition. And so that's how the whole thing started.
And that whole equation equals one word: knowing. In other words, people ask us every day, like I said, how do I know? And if you're using those tools, you will know. You will know. It's, what, and they go, I still don't know. Well, you're not paying attention. Like, pay attention, watch your dreams, keep your intuition open when you get a gut feeling, because they go, a lot of people really don't know what intuition is. They go, I don't know. My mind sends me. The mind is not your intuition. A mind is a thought. That's very different. It comes in behind our gut feeling. The intuition is very subtle. It's a feeling. Feeling is not thought. And a feeling will come in, then the thought, blah, blah, blah. You should have done this. Are you sure about this? That's the mind. Let the mind go. You don't need the mind. Go with the intuition. The feeling is always right. Mm-hmm.
So, we all, Debbie, you got anything?
I'm speechless because that's such amazing advice. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a prophetic
I
dream
don't have
the other night. I had a prophetic dream about me and my pastor. And, obviously I like my pastor, but in this dream, we were doing stuff together, and it just really felt like it was one of those God dreams, which I've had maybe a handful over the last 50 years of my life. And you just never know when they're going to come and what they're going to mean. And I wonder, gosh, did he have a dream about me as well, And I guess we'll find out at some time in the future,
Do you want to share the dream or no? No pressure.
No.
Okay, cool. Okay.
I still,
yeah.
This is going to be broadcast, and I still have to figure it out.
Right on.
Now, we all struggle with decision making and getting blindsided. I just told you about the one that I am thinking about right now. The decision I need to make. How can we cultivate superior decision making?
Okay. And I just want to say one thing when you mentioned about wondering if he had the dream. Often we're in the same dream, but we remember it differently. So whenever you do talk to him, he might totally have recall, and he might not. But if not, it's only because he's remembering a different aspect of the dream.
Mm-hmm.
I have no doubt you were both there together. Absolutely. And those dreams are, they're stunning. Like you said, you've had 5 that you recall, in your years. And that's like the real divine guidance, the real message. So that's quite a gift. I'm so glad you mentioned it. Yeah. Thanks, Dave. Superior decision making.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the Bible is full of dreams, that it's definitely, and in the last days, it says your old men will dream dreams, your young men will have visions. I don't know if I got that backwards or not, but a lot of people are going through dreams and visions these days, because I believe we're living in the last days. This world has never been in the place it's in now with technology. I mean, something can happen on the other side of the world, and the whole world knows about it in 5 seconds,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed.
It's, as you've mentioned, and the Holy Spirit actually speaks to us through at least 3 ways, and that's dream, signs, and intuition. And that's the language of God, if you want to go that far and say it.
Nice.
I'll say that. And because I know it is. And when we go into those areas, we're really going into another state of consciousness, another dimension in terms of science. There's like 11 dimensions according to quantum physics. So that's where we're going, and we're accessing. Here's a way to look at it. Usually when we do, because you were talking about, making the right decisions and superior decision making, we do our homework, and we call an expert, call a friend, read a book, collect the data, but we don't have that knowingness. And that knowingness comes from accessing the hologram. Things aren't in parts. They really are not. Everything is a whole. It's all one. And quantum physics has speculated in the last year or two that everything is one. It's a hologram. And in a hologram, we have access to the whole database. And so when we start using our imagination, we access that database. I mean, Einstein people go, well, he was so smart with math and stuff. Einstein, they don't know if they really researched. Einstein hated mathematics. What? Yes, he did. He turned the math over to the experts. He got the concepts. He would drift off in the middle of the afternoon for 15 or 20 minutes. And when he'd wake up, he would have seen, like he saw light, a beam of light going from the earth toward the moon. And as it got close to the moon, the light actually bent around the moon. And he woke up and thought, wow, light's supposed to go in a straight line according to science for the last 1,000 years. Do you mean it bends? And sure enough, it does. So he worked that concept, gave it to the mathematicians, and they verified it. Even Elias Howe, the sewing machine, he had a dream. That's where he got the sewing machine from. So these things are beyond our normal system, but they're accessible because we all dream, have intuition and gut feelings all day long.
I always say, even the atheist dreams. Even the atheist has had a gut feeling, and even the atheist has witnessed a coincidence. So, they're just semantics at some point. Soul is soul, and that's what we are. And we were built the same way, constructed the same way. Those other things are just belief systems, but those higher tools that we all have access to, regardless of our faith or lack thereof, that's the real deal. And you track your data. You don't make life and death choices. You track your data. You get comfortable first, working with your data, see what messages or what guidance that you receive, and jot it down, and then see how things turn out. And before too long, a person is amazed at the validity and the accuracy of this other data. And then you get confident, and then you start utilizing this other, data in conjunction with your right brain, right left combo. Boop.
Yeah.
So.
Tell us about your gift for our listeners, the free Dream Decoder mini course.
Yeah. It's on our website. And they can sign up, they'll get the newsletter, which is just quarterly, but they'll get the mini Dream Decoder course because it's so cool. We mentioned the HUE, which we call one-step therapy. I'm about to put it through actual peer review so we can get it in the book. CBT, EMDR, one-step therapy, which is just say HUE. We call it the universal panacea. We also, so it's really works for the multiplicity of things. And then you've got your dream signs and intuition. So the Dream Decoder course will get people rolling because it starts with the one magic word and the HUE and explains that. And then it goes right into dreams, how to remember them, how to decode them accurately, how to track them, program them, and whatnot. So as far as getting familiar with these tools, starting to put it in play, because you know what? They're on autopilot, Dave and Debbie, 24/7. That's the cool part. While you're awake, there's signs and intuition, and while you're sleeping, there's dreams. Even if someone doesn't think they dream, because they don't remember, it's every night. Every night we dream. And
we were on a show and a few years ago, and there was a guy who called in, and he said, "I swear, I've never had a dream in at least 40 years that I can remember." 40 years. He's like 60 years old. Anyway, he said, 40 years, no dreams. And you're telling me that you got a tool that's going to allow me to remember my dreams. And so we shared the HUE on the air with him. And a couple of days went by, and we got contacted by this guy, and he said, "Oh my God, I remembered 3 dreams after I HUE'd," because it's like turning the channel on the remote, and it automatically, the dreams come in. Yep.
So what is your website then?
Oh, yeah. Hello. Oh, my gosh.
My intuition told me to ask. Actually, it was my curiosity.
Yeah, we should HUE while we're in bed going to sleep. Yes.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yep.
Again, out loud or silently, eyes open or closed. You can do it while you're doing the dishes. You can do it before bed. You can do it while you're in a meeting. No one even has to know.
And I know a lot of times we dream about things that are on our minds, that either are positive or negative, but we can actually program or decide to dream about something that we want to dream about, find the answer to. Did I say that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll share the website in just a sec. But yeah, they're on autopilot. So whatever you're thinking about, you're going to have a dream about, and it's going to give you a pearl of data to assist with that. So that's where the autopilot, and that's why people say, "Oh, I dreamt about that because that was on my mind," and then they don't go any further. And I'm here to say, yes, go further. There's the reason, and there's a message for you.
And you have to write it down because it's like it just starts to disintegrate as you start to think of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's ephemeral. It's like
It's
cotton
gone.
candy. Gone.
What happens to me all the time is it happened this morning, is I'll be talking about someone or thinking about someone and they will call me. That happens to me all the time.
Mhm.
It's the strangest thing.
That's totally what I would say, Debbie. You're totally tapped in to your intuition.
Yep.
You know it's coming before it comes because you're totally tapped in. Yeah. And so that you get a flash, or their name comes into your mind, or you think, however it works for you. Maybe you see the person in your mind's eye or what have you, but that's your intuition.
Yep. And mechanically, here's how it works mechanically. And not many people on the planet know this, but now you guys are going to know it. And it's like we're beyond. Some of our stuff is so far beyond. It's like most people won't pick up on it. But Debbie, the reason that works is everything is connected. So when you think about somebody, they've already thought about you, and that energy, thought is energy, and it goes out, automatically goes out. And you pick up on it, or you send something out and they pick up on it. The phone rings, you go, "Oh my God, what a coincidence." That happened to me actually this morning. And they said, "I was just thinking about you." And it didn't surprise me at all. And it's called, in quantum physics, they call it entanglement, quantum entanglement. They've found out in the last year or two that everything is connected. And I mean everything. So when someone, like, you watch a crime show on TV today, they always go, "I wonder if those events are connected." As far as we know, they're not. That is ludicrous because it's already been proved scientifically that everything in the universe is connected. So all we need to do is be aware, and suddenly we'll realize what the connection was. It'll come to us. That's how it works.
Yes, you're totally intuitive, Debbie. Like naturally. Yeah.
We'll call you Deb the Intuitive, okay?
What's the best technique for sidestepping adversity?
The hue. And back to the website. One magic word will get you. We have several URLs that'll get you to the same website. So we could go with nevergetblindsidedagain.com or onemagicword.com, either a number one, or they could spell out the word one. All these will get you there. So one magic word or nevergetblindsidedagain.com. And yes, for your caregiver audience, this I'd like to think that the whole, our whole conversation will be helpful, certainly. But
yeah, they get burned out a lot.
Exactly. And that's why it was like it rang so many bells, because in working with clients for 25 years, a lot of the clients have burnout, right? And you know what? I'm gonna give you the solution and with the core of burnout. And I don't know if you've heard this or not, but it's like how all burnout is lack of love. Lack of love for the thing we're doing. And it comes out as burnout. Oh, I'm burnt out and I'm exhausted and I'm tired and I just don't want it anymore. I'm just, I need a vacation. It's lack of love. And I have this conversation all the time with my people. So identifying, it's really at the core, it's lack of love. We might not like our place of business. We might not like our boss, ... These things come out as burnout, but nonetheless, it's lack of love. So, okay, if we can really see ourselves as coworkers, you're here to spread the love. You're here to help people feel a little better. If we truly take that on as our job in whatever we're doing, I don't care if we're cooking at McDonald's or we're driving the cab. If we truly take that on, because that's why we're here. We're here to learn how to give and receive divine love. That's why we're on the planet, and to be coworkers. And some people are at different stages and different levels of doing that. But if you can actually like assume that role, okay, if I'm here to be a coworker, if I'm here to give and receive divine love, the reason I'm burnt out is lack of love for the thing I'm doing. Well, then if you just bring love to it, it immediately reorients the framing of the problem, and it transmutes, it transforms the whole thing. So knowing those things will definitely help. But then we can add one magic word, or the HUE, or one-step therapy, whatever we're comfortable calling it. But the HUE technique, if we add that and incorporate, now it's like putting nitrous on it. Exponential, expedites. It does all this all in one. HUE, out loud or silent, eyes open or closed, so they can do it at work. They can do it at night before bed. And here's the thing. If we really want to prescribe it, like as a tool or a technique, no more than 20 minutes a day. You could do up to 20 in one sitting. You could do 4 5-minute sessions, 2 10-minute sessions. You do it when you're in the shower. You could pick a time every day. I'm going to do it at noon every day when I wake up, or every night at 10 p.m., this type of thing. So it's real user friendly that way. And with the clients, we use it for everything, like addiction. NBC, the investigative, we came in, right? And they picked out the clients for us. We didn't pick the clients. They had 2 people.
And they were skeptics. They were real skeptics.
They were. They even say that in the show. And they were skeptical. And they brought 2 people in and they said, let's put this to the test. So they give them the tools. We have a workbook, the Trust Yourself workbook, the ancient way of knowing, blah, blah, blah. So they gave them the tools and we did sessions, and they interviewed before and after. And it was a whole week, a 1-week span. And at the end, he's like, well, I'm not smoking as much. And she's like, I'm making all these connections and I'm remembering my dreams and I'm sleeping better. Yeah. And so they had all these various testimonials and experiences, personal, that had occurred throughout this week when using the tools. So it was really cool. Spirit's going to give us whatever we need. It knows best what we need. Someone needs this, someone needs that. And, it's, that autopilot and user-friendly changes you from the inside out. Even with addiction, I tell people, don't worry about it. Just add the HUE. Don't worry about tapering and quitting right now. Just add the HUE to whatever the issue is. If it's Doritos or heroin, add the HUE, and then your higher self takes over. And honestly, our higher self wants our best version of life for us. Yeah. It doesn't want us to be a slave to something. And God knows I've been addicted to everything. Okay. I'm speaking from experience. And so, it just kind of works on you without you working on it. It's amazing. Clients will come in. I want to bring my methadone dose down. Hey, yep. You've been smoking. You've been hewing. It's like, yeah. So for the listeners, for ourselves, for anybody else, try that tool and the HUE. Yep. Yeah, it's like
you're obviously people of faith, but what's your background of religion? What do you believe in?
Well, okay. And we're both,
obviously God.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Here's the deal. You want the deal? We're going to give it to you. We both grew up Catholic. Michael.
Me too.
The Jesuits, right?
Yep. Went with the nuns for 8 years.
Yeah, me too.
In high school, I went with the Jesuits in high school. And actually, I went to school in Delaware with Joe Biden. He went to the same school I did. So people go, well, what, you don't know Joe Biden? I go, oh yeah, I went to school with him. That's a true story. But yeah, studied with the Jesuits, altar boy for 10 years, and then Nicole, what did you? And then go ahead, you do yours.
So there's a twist to the story. Okay.
Yep.
So he grew up Catholic. I grew up Catholic, confirmation, communion, the whole. Then, and this also goes back to the Divine Guidance Institute nonprofit. I was 20. Michael and I just started dating. I had already had the dream I told you about with and Holy Spirit showing me what was going on. Then Michael hands me a book. I read a couple pages of a book, and I have one of those dreams you just talked about, Dave. One of those dreams with God on the mountain. Okay. And all of this information was dispensed to me. I was on the mountain. I thought it was God at the time. It was a spiritual being. Okay. Is what I've now know. It gave me all this information that I was unprepared for. Pure truth, the truth about everything. It's as if you could have a talk with God, and God, the truth about heaven, hell, reincarnation, past, the truth about everything was dispensed. And I woke up, the tears, and I didn't know what was real and what wasn't real, okay? Because it was as if my belief system was pulled out from underneath me. And I knew one thing: don't talk to anyone. Don't you talk to anyone, Nicole, because everyone has their own experience, their own perspective. Only you were in that dream with this spiritual being. So I had to literally ask for a sign from God for an entire year. Every waking hour, this is how unbalanced I was, okay? I had to ask for a sign from God for every waking hour for an entire year before I came into full knowingness that everything that was transmitted to me, the data I received, was truth. I was uncertain. And I didn't ask for a specific sign, but I was so distraught and needed reassurance. Every waking hour, show me a sign, and something would happen. A rainbow would appear. I'd overhear a conversation. Something would happen within 5 minutes of me asking, desperately asking for a sign. And after that year, I came into such knowingness, solid knowingness of a lot of things that, really that's why we call it trust yourself and the trust yourself system. That's why there's the spiritual law of silence, because, you'll get all confused with so many different things. And that's why I have tested this system. Like I said, it came out of, once again, self-preservation. Mm-hmm. That's why I know these tools are the tools, uniquely and universally. I've tested the out of these tools, okay? And so, so anyway, you asked a question, what path? Eckankar. You probably never heard of Eckankar.
No.
Eckankar, Eckankar. And Ek means Holy Spirit. It's a Sanskrit word.
For Holy Spirit.
Yeah, and it's Eckankar. It's called the path of spiritual freedom, where
third member of the Trinity.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got it.
It's interesting because after I was still a Catholic, so to speak, one night I had a dream in my 20s, and in the dream, I had a life review, literally a life review. I've studied life reviews. People, near-death experience, they have a life review, blah, blah. But a full life review. And the spiritual beings that were with me in the dream said, here's your life. And they were like, they put it on camera, literally, and we're watching my life on the wall. And then they'd stop it, they'd ask me questions, what I got out of it. And at the end, they said, you're shifting gears now. You're no longer that. All you've studied, all that theology, everything, you're going somewhere else. So be prepared. And I woke up and I knew it was the truth, with that feeling, that knowingness. And so I started studying after Catholicism. I studied with the Buddhists. I studied with the Sikhs. I used to do yoga. I'd teach yoga, went to the ashrams. And then one day I walked into a bookstore. They were just closing. It was like 8:00 at night, I think in Minneapolis. Nobody else in the bookstore. And they said, hey, we're closing in 2 minutes. I said, okay. Right then, a book dropped off the shelf, literally dropped. Nobody's around. I looked at it. I thought, huh. And so I picked it up to put it back. And I looked at it and it said Eckankar. And I looked around and I thought, what is this? And so I looked and I got a number from the inside and I called them the next day. And that's when I literally knew this was the path I'm now supposed to follow. So it opened the doorway, and it was really just a sign. And that's how I was guided through where I am.
Yeah.
I can't believe how fast this time has gone today. We could talk for another 3 hours.
Yeah, I
But
know.
time is the enemy. Nicole, how can our listeners reach you, find out more about who and everything else you're talking about?
Never Get Blindsided Again or onemagicword.com. Yep, both are .coms. Nevergetblindsidedagain.com, onemagicword.com. Free mini dream decoder course to get them rolling, along with one with the Just Say Hugh that's incorporated in the course so they can get rolling.
Sign
And
up on the website.
Yeah. And the cool thing is all the tools, they don't tell you what to do, they tell you how to know what to do. So start tracking your data. I'll send you all our books so you can start using these tools and techniques if you'd like. And you can, get rolling. The Hue works. You already tried that one, right? So.
And I'm assuming, I haven't even tried this after the surgery. I'm assuming this can be good pain control management.
Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Debbie, how can our listeners reach you and find out all the wonderful things you are doing for our society?
MayorDebbie.com. Just
Ooh.
Mayor, Mayor, Debbie, DEBBIE.com.
So Debbie, you're running right now? Right now?
I am. I had no intention of ever going back after about 15 or 20 years, and then spending another 5 years researching and writing about good governance. And
she uncovered a lot of corruption in her town.
Yeah.
And became very
people began to
unpopular.
understand. They began
But
connecting
there's
the
still some
dots, and they
corruption
asked me to
there.
run again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very good.
Oh, that's fabulous. And you were mayor, as Dave said, a while ago?
I was mayor for a couple of years, 2012 to 2014. I was on the city council also for 7 years, and a planning commissioner for 4. So I've got the track record for having done it, and I know how to do it.
Wow.
She's pulling a Grover Cleveland, come back.
Yeah.
This is
That's right.
fabulous.
Once in future mayor. That's what they should say. Once in future.
Oh, that's a wonderful
Debbie.
way of
I
putting
love
it.
it.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, is that
Once in
cool?
future mayor. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank
nice. Yeah. As Dave said, he already has a prophecy. He already sees it happening. So
There you
I
go.
don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
We'll follow you.
She's not the only politician who seems to be doing that these days. All right, enough of that.
right.
And again, a reminder, all our live shows become recorded pod and video casts on our platforms mentioned before, like YouTube, Spreaker, SoundCloud, Podbean, and many others. Also, my membership website, caregiverdave.com, a free membership support community with lots of free gifts, resources, including a free coaching session. Please click the like or follow button, whatever platform you're watching or listening this on. It helps us reach even more caregivers by improving Google's search engine algorithms. So again, to all my listeners out there, thank you again for tuning in each and every week, making us the #1 caregiving podcast on the internet. And to my guest today, thank you so much. So until next week, same time, same channel, may God richly bless you all. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All righty.
One Arm, One Leg, 100 Words, Overcoming Unbelievable Hardships is about Charlene, a stroke survivor. Back in 1996, Charlene was a healthy, normal, very active 52-year-old woman whose amazing talents resemble that of both a Martha Stewart and a Wonder Woman. But all that changed when she suffered a massive stroke that left her severely speech impaired and paralyzed on the right side. Who am I? My name is David. I've had the privilege of being Charlene's husband since 1975. We had a wonderful fairy tale, storybook-like courtship that culminated in our marriage a year later. Charlene had just come out of a marriage where after 10 years, she received 2 black eyes and a broken nose by her former husband when he came home high on speed. Charlene believed in no second chances of any kind for abuse, so she left. Finding herself all alone in the world with her 5 and 10-year-old daughters Cynthia Lorraine and Deborah Lynn, she started raising them by herself for the next 2 years. Then fate brought us all together. After falling in love with Charlene, Cindy, and Debbie, our love then produced Rebecca Elizabeth. We had a wonderful, normal life for the next 20 years. But today, things are very different for everyone. How about the reaction of 9-time Grammy and Dove Award recipient, the godfather of contemporary gospel Christian music, Andre Crouch? Charlene just won't let the promises of God go, and she has not let her circumstances get in the way of her faith. She's not just a survivor, she's more than a conqueror, as the Bible states. You'll be encouraged by her testimony, regardless of what you're going through. Available everywhere.
Sometimes it feels like the sun will never rise, like the birds will never sing.